Welcome to Svitlana Kalitsun. Svitlana is a trainer at the Negotiation Academy and a lawyer. She has conducted countless negotiations as a lawyer for top law firms in Austria and multinational corporations. Svitlana has gained her training at the Universities of Vienna and Leiden and her further education at Yale University. She has trained professionals, entrepreneurs, and students in Europe, India, and Brazil. Svitlana has helped numerous individuals excel in public speaking and leadership while serving as president of the Vienna Speakers Club. She is an author, a Forbes contributor, mentor, and visiting lecturer at Lviv Business School. I also want to note that while Svitlana is physically present in Vienna, Austria, she's a native of Ukraine. And Svitlana, we're very interested in hearing some of your thoughts about the situation in Ukraine and your personal experience, as well as, of course, hearing about the food bank to which you would like people to direct contributions if they're in a position to do so. And of course, your presentation, to which we're all looking forward, on client satisfaction and keeping clients happy. So with all that, my friend, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and hello to everyone. Yes, my name is Svitlana Kalitsun, and maybe as my name is saying, that is from Ukraine. I'm from the west of Ukraine. I live in Austria for a few years now, and yeah, we were unlucky to have this situation in Ukraine right now. But we are very happy and very grateful for every single help and understanding for everyone, every little bit of help that counts to everyone, to this big community, because this much of support and this much of unity that we have experienced in the last, I think it's 67 days now. And we are very grateful for everyone in the whole world, because we feel this commitment and the support, and many politicians, many normal people are out there and helping just by providing food, providing good support, providing just by talking to people is already a very big help. And just to give you a little insight to what is happening right now. I'm from the west of Ukraine. We started hosting people in Vienna, in Austria. Austrian government is also very supportive, and we provide right now for registration for kids' books and clothes. We support children and women inside of Ukraine. We also support the shelters for the animals, because there are many homeless animals, and everything that could be done. So right now it's we hope for the best. And bringing that back to me and this whole idea why we're talking about, we're going to talk about client satisfaction. I'm an Austrian lawyer, so I was active as a lawyer. And back then, and during this career, I was actually planning on becoming a partner in a big law firm, of course, idealistic, and I was very happy on being a lawyer. And I kept seeing that obviously there are many lawyers, and I started doing the math and figuring out what is my place, what is my unique sales proposition, what is going to be very specific and special from what I'm going to support and bring to the market. And I figured out that obviously at some point it's like more or less my colleagues would go to more or less the same law schools. They would go to more or less the same hearings. They would apply the same laws and regulations. But it was a few colleagues that were outstanding in their performance, and I figured out what it was. It was communication. So I'm specialized on communication, and this is how my pathway of negotiation trainer and negotiation trainer has started, because I figured out that obviously in the market where everyone is excellent, everyone is going to the same law schools, everyone is providing more or less the same advice to the lawyers. The thing that is going to make you stand out is the communication, the way how you support your client, how you represent the rights, how you deliver the information to them, and also how committed you are. So therefore, I thought I'll just put together a few slides for you to tell you a little bit about the client science and the ideas that clients are expecting from us, but maybe not telling, not in the first place.
Svitlana, before we get to the slides, please tell us a little bit about the food bank to which you would like people to direct contributions.
Oh, yes. There are so many ideas that I have forgotten about the food bank. Yes. The war has started on 24th of February. I was back then in Thailand supporting our clients, but my family was fleeing. So what happened there was actually that my sister-in-law was stuck on the border between Ukraine and Poland with a little baby of 6 years old. She has just given the birth to the child, and also her 7 years old in the car with her father, and they were staying in this car for 3 subsequent days. There was no end in sight, nothing, and the idea was actually that they have packed for a few hours, but they were not expecting to need food and drink and support for 3 days. What happened there was actually that I had, and she was one of many, of hundreds of families like that, and half of my family has tried to flee. And what happened there was like we needed this support of helping right now. We could not afford waiting for the big organization. So what we started was just sending her money and letting her or her father just go to the next place where they could actually reach out to the food and buy some food and drink for the others, or actually invite someone just to pay for coffee for all surrounding people that are out there, because it's small families. It's usually mothers, little children, toddlers, or the little babies that they have. So what we started was actually just 3 days. During this idea was this little food bank that everyone can support with. And actually, we are supporting women and children because it was this specific situation. And therefore, we gather the money and send it directly to Ukraine, to women and children shelters, to initiatives that actually bring medicine and food to the hotspots in Ukraine, and also to the animals. So right now we are supporting like small organizations, and by the way, it does not really matter where you donate your money, because in Ukraine everyone is right now volunteer, at least everyone who I know, and especially those volunteering homes. I was supporting one shelter home in Lviv. That's my friend who has set up from one day to another. She made a kindergarten. She has turned the kindergarten into the shelter for 200 beds, with 200 beds. And she told me myself that they get enough support, but please give the support to someone else. So what happens there is actually that if you want to donate and you want to support small organizations, then we are the right ones, and we will be happy to give all the updates and information about that. Because what is a different, but in the end it does not matter where you put the money, because if that's a big organization, the money is going to be there in a little bit later. If you want to put your money strictly and directly, like myself, putting the money into the hands of my sister-in-law just for buying food and drinks for the people who are right now at the border, that's me.
And the website is https://gogetfunding.com/we4Ukraine. That's WE, the numeral 4 Ukraine / gogetfunding.com/we4Ukraine/. And I hope everyone is able to support that worthy cause. Svitlana, back to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. But now let's go get talking a little bit about the law science. How about that?
Let's get educated.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. I'm curious what you're going to tell me about that. So Welcome, and let's talk about this managing client satisfaction, because that's a specific idea and specific thoughts. And before we jump into that, I have this little saying by Maya Angelou, who said that she's learned that people will forget what you said, they will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And I find this sentence so vivid and so practical to understand, because obviously as lawyers, we communicate a lot, we talk a lot, we have a lot to say, but it turns out that people often don't get the idea, or at least just a part of this idea, and but they will not forget how you make them feel. So let's talk a little bit about the feelings that our clients are expecting from us, and also the facts that are making them feel those feelings. And before I do that, I'd like to ask a little question. What do you think matters to clients? Is it the result or the process?
Well, Svitlana, I think that the first reaction people would have is that it's the result. Those who are paying money in settlements of cases want to pay less. Those who are getting money in settlements of cases want to get more, and lawyers fight very hard for that.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It was absolutely my first response. Of course, the result, they pay us, that's what they pay us in the end, isn't it? And that's also the majority of the answers that we get, because that's what they pay us for. That's what brings them to us. But social science studies from the last 2 decades have said that clients value at least as much as the process, as the result, the perceived process they have. And this even goes further, because a professor of the psychology at NYU, Tom Taylor, said that they evaluate our competence by this process that they have perceived, not the outcome. And that's the very interesting idea of, obviously, that a client is it's this whole delivery of satisfaction starts not at the around the result, but at the beginning, at the very first time that we encounter the client. And that's very interesting idea to think about. And there have been many people who thought about it, and there are also reports on that. One report is called How Clients Hire, Fire, and Spend, Landing the World's Best Client. Very solid title from BTI Consulting. And what made it special was that they have interviewed quite a large number of general counsels. Almost 1/3 of them were employed by the Fortune 100 companies, and their median revenue was $3.4 billion, which is quite big. So it was quite an extensive interviewing of counsels throughout quite a long time. So what they figured out was that 7 out of 10 corporations were so unsatisfied with their primary law firm that they would not recommend this law firm to the others. Just think about it. 7 out of 10 corporations were so unsatisfied. It's a huge number, and it had huge, huge consequences, because they make these these reports every year, and they have supported them throughout the years, and they figured out that in the course of the next years, those firms that were not satisfied, they have replaced the primary law firms by the secondary. And they didn't even tell the primary law firms that they are not satisfied and they are leaving them. What they did was actually they have increased the numbers of the secondary law firms, have shifted the work to the secondary law firms, have spent less money with the primary law firms, and the primary law firms have realized this loss when it was way too late. So obviously it's a huge consequence, and also quite a high number. So they started asking the why questions, what happened there, and it turned out that they were not satisfied with the law firms due to poor communication. It was these 50% of it, to things like that clients felt that they were not adequately informed, that They were not listened to, and lawyers were not that responsive. Even some were perceived as arrogant. They made decisions without the clients, and they also failed to give a clear and direct advice. So at least 50% of this whole failure, I would say, was due to communication, was not due to delivering the process, it was about the process, what about the communication. Then I asked the question from a different point of view. Then I asked, well, if you are not satisfied with the law firm, you would not recommend, then why would you recommend the law firm? And it turned out that the brand is quite important to the clients, but not too much. It's 8%. Legal skills, thank God, it's 17% of recommendation. Thank God, I say, because the law school paid off at some point. Many years of studying and learning and practicing law pay off at some point. But the rest, the reason why people would recommend you is the exceptional client focus, 65%. And they have started asking the other questions. What is the exceptional client focus, and what are the traits that are important to you on the other hand? And
Svitlana, let me ask a question. You're talking here about general counsel of large companies. Many of our listeners do deal with the representation of large companies or working with large companies as mediators or arbitrators. There are a lot of other kinds of legal situations as well. People getting divorced, people who've been injured in car accidents, people in many other sorts of circumstances. Do you think that this analysis and these results are equally applicable in other situations like family law, personal injury law, employment law, and others?
Yes, I do. I have these hard facts about the corporate, because they are unapplicable, and that's a sample that we got. That's a pretty extensive study. But I can very much imagine that these traits that we're going to talk about, by the way, these are the traits and the expectations of our clients, that they are very much expected in the family law, in arbitration cases, and actually applies to every body of law, I would say. Okay. But that's a very good question. Thank you, because it's basically the money is in the corporate. Therefore, we have those numbers, but it really is applicable. And coming back to the traits that they are expecting from us, obviously, they have asked also the qualities that they would expect from the lawyers. And we have this little chart here that I would like to talk to you about. And we have on the lower side, we have the traits that are important to the client. And on the left side, we have the traits that are difficult to find on the market. And if you look closely, I think it's 17 traits, 17 different qualities. And if we look at the top left quadrant, the relationship builder is called, it's about the regional reputation of the law firm that is important to the less important to the client, but it's a differentiator. So obviously, if you have a good reputation, then you have obviously proven objectively that you have a good understanding of regulations, of problems, of competition. You understand the requirements. You can also prove by that you have, if you have a multiple services delivered together, like one-stop shop principle, then it's going to be a breadth of services. It's also going to differentiate you on the market, but it's not that important. It's nice to have. Unprompted communication, since we talk about communication here on this side, means that it is a communication that is not on the project, but meaning that if you keep communicating with your client from the past, updates every now and then, it can be a Christmas card. There is not that much value about the Christmas card, but if you send an update that is important, or about the industry of your client, then it's going to make you stand out a little bit, but it's not that important to them anymore. advising on business issues and consulting, not just by being a lawyer, but also proving their business savviness is also a differentiator. And bringing it all together will mean that it's a nice to have thing. So it's good, it's great to have, but it's not that important to our clients. If we go to the quadrant that is underneath there called business magnets, we have only two qualities there. One of the bigger importance, where clients obviously expect us to anticipate their needs, meaning that they want us to deliver something before they need it, before they even ask. And this is the tricky one, because correct me if I'm wrong, but when I was a lawyer, like a young lawyer, it was very good. I was trained to find a solution. And as a young lawyer, it's like you're a problem shooter. You look for the problem and you shoot it, and that's it. And it's fantastic. And this anticipating clients' needs was very difficult for a young lawyer. It needed like a huge, big picture of everything more to anticipate what is going to be the next step. Or you count not just 1 or 2 steps, or you count like 3 or 4 steps, and then you just count the steps from that point. So obviously, it is more important, but not that differentiated. Obviously, you can get that on the market. Also, innovative approach by delivering something that is new, unique, or creative is something that is going to help you develop the business, but it's not going to make you stand out on the market. The quadrant of high importance but low differentiation means that these are the traits that are expected from every one of us, and if we're not going to deliver them, then we are not going to be employed in any case. And these are like the minimum requirements, because obviously the most important skill is, if you look to the right, the high importance are the domain skills, meaning that they want us to already have the expertise and deliver on it. So it's not that I have a good potential, it's about already have delivered on the different cases, and they already have it. So the skills of training and education is out there. Thank God it's important. I was very happy to see that. Yeah, then the quality of products is a big expectation. It's important to them. But if you deliver the quality, that's good, that they are not going to pat you on the head. But they are going to notice that as soon as it is lacking. So if you deliver the good quality, they are not going to see it as such, unless the quality is lacking there. Informing, here we have the second trait, and the second skill on informing. Keeping clients informed is about informing on a case. So they want to have a close connection and close information on a case. So for example, this one would be if a client sends you a document and you don't have the time to read the document yet, or cannot provide the answer to the specific questions, but you can write quickly an email. Thank you, I've got your contract. I'll get back to you by the end of the week. This is already this thing that is going to give the clients more comfort and will be cherished for them. So that's the high importance for them. Handling problems quick and responsibly. It's about being responsible and showing this responsibility in the way that they see it, and about dealing with unexpected changes, meaning that we need to anticipate their needs, but still communicate about that. That's an interesting and tricky point here, because obviously they want us to see our commitment and also responsibility here. And as I told you, it's like the minimum requirement. If we are not going to deliver those traits and those skills in a perceived way to the client, in the way that they will see it, they will feel it, they will see our support and presence, we are not going to make the job. We're not going to keep the client. And yeah, so that's the minimum what we need to deliver, and everyone needs to deliver. But if you go to the quadrant on top of it, called relationship bliss, these are the qualities that are going to make you stand out. This is the holy grail, and this is what is going to make you stand out, what will make you keep the clients, and also what will allow you to ask for more salary, for more payment, because if you deliver that, then will be not that many competitors delivering exactly. Meaning that commitment to help is very important to them, and commitment means that they want our commitment to exceed their own commitment. That's also the tricky thing, because obviously I think someone has told us that people pay us for fears. I mean, if people come to us that they have fears, and as soon as we take the clients, we take those fears off their hands and off their shoulders. So this is this kind of commitment that is out there, and they want us to see it. They want us to provide value for the dollar. I do believe that everyone understands that, but obviously they want to exceed it. So it's not the one-to-one. They pay us $1 and they want the value. They want more than just $1. And the more you can provide, the better. Meaning that it's not about the money that you take out, and or if they pay you some specific amount and you pay and you get them back, the amount that is more different. It is about the values, about the needs, the fears, the concerns that they have. It does not need to be the monetary thing. It's about things that they value, their own values. Understanding the client's businesses means that we need to provide this business savviness and business support by understanding also their industries. We could provide the best legal advice, but if it's not business savvy, if it's not business applicable in the business and not livable for the business, then it's useless for them. And maybe you will remember the GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation in Europe. A few years ago was like a big thing here. And I remember working on data protection with different firms, and back then it was like very difficult to find the business savvy solutions because it was very new regulations, not that much precedence cases. And the biggest thing that people would be asking, every single one, was actually, I don't care about the law, by the way. I don't care about the law, but I care about legality. I want my business to stay legal, and just tell me what to do. And that was a very interesting way of rethinking and thinking completely different. So thinking more like a businessman, less like a lawyer. I don't know if that's not too much to ask of the lawyers, but that's the thing that is going to make you stand out, and also will bring you the highest profit and growth, because people will be staying with you, people will be bringing you new clients, and you can also earn different salaries.
So Svitlana, in terms of understanding the client's business, let's say, for example, you're a trademark lawyer or privacy lawyer, and there are many, many different kinds of industries that have, say, trademark issues or privacy issues. Manufacturing business might be very different than a service business. A healthcare business has its own special regulations. How many different client businesses is a lawyer or a mediator capable of understanding? Can't understand everything in the whole economy. And how much of it has to be learned in advance? How much do clients expect and presume you'll know in advance, as opposed to learning on the job or learning during the representation of the client?
It's a very good question. How many people are capable, how many industries people are capable to serve? I think that's very individual, so that depends on the people. I'm a big believer of matching not the job, but matching the right person, because it's a very good question, and we have just published a little post about the continuing education, making the point that obviously our jobs become so intercultural, interdependable. So it's not just about being a lawyer. It's about being a lawyer who likes IT, or being a lawyer who likes communication. In my case, I feel that we cannot afford anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong. We cannot afford anymore just to be a lawyer in one specific area. We've got to broaden our expertise and to interexchange these whole ideas and thoughts. Therefore, I would actually just advise or maybe suggest to go behind your interest, because if you are interested in media, then obviously, and read the Medium articles on a Sunday off work, then obviously this is going to motivate you to learn more about this. And yeah, hobbies and also interests that are interesting, everything that is of your interest, that you also can combine with your work will be fantastic. For example, people who used to be good in sports, they usually stay connected with sports. Musicians that started to perceive careers and needed to stop at some specific point, they usually go in different areas such as sales or marketing, or sometimes music and law, communication, business. So there are many things that you can combine with each other. Did that answer your question?
Yes, and I'm also curious, Svitlana, can you give a specific example, a case study of what it looks like when a lawyer is, or a mediator or arbitrator is really client-focused, really providing value for the dollar?
Give me one moment. I have a prepared slide for that.
Okay.
I have these ideas because I have a few of them.
Take your time.
Yes, definitely. But it's a very good question. It's going to come back here in two slides, if that's okay for you.
Sure.
Okay. We keep this question in mind.
Okay.
But if you come back to the communication, then we will be talking about communication that is unprompted. Oh, by the way, if you combine the two studies, and you see on one side people are talking about that they are not happy with their own law firms because of communication. And on the other side, if you combine this strategy, then you see that communication is actually not that high on the graph, because unprompted communication is of lower importance here, meaning that if we lawyers are investing our time into sending every few months a report, or maybe a nice note, or something of a value to the client, that it's going to be nice to have, but it's not that important. And on the other side, if we communicate like directly, strictly, are very, very up to date, and keep the clients up to date, then it's not going to be important to the people. So that's that brings the question, well, actually, what do you need? You know, it's like the clients often come here and they want something, but we don't really know what they need. And obviously, so it was a question about the communication. What kind of a communication and question do you need here? And they figured out that obviously what they mean about the specific communication that they want us to know and deliver, it's about client focus. And I have not answered to this question of providing value to the dollar, because it absolutely connects to this client focus. But it's a very good question, by the way, Jeff. So providing the value for the dollar and client focus together means that they expect from us exceptional client focus. They want us to meet the client's targeted outcome, not just providing the most indisputable advice. It's a complicated sentence, but I just give you a few seconds to read it by yourself and think, what do you think what might mean that? Is providing the value of the dollar and the client focus.
Svitlana, let me ask you a question about that. Because when lawyers give advice, let's say the question is, what will be the consequences of course of action A, B, or C? Does this violate the law or does this not violate the law? Typical sorts of questions from clients. Lawyers, of course, cannot guarantee outcomes, and it may be difficult for a lawyer to say, this definitely violates the law or this definitely does not violate the law. A lot of lawyers' answers sound very frustrating to clients at times because they begin, it depends, and then there's more, it depends on this, it depends on that. So is the client's targeted outcome the ability to make a good decision under the circumstances? Or is the client's targeted outcome more like, I get to do what I want to do?
It's such a good question. Absolutely, what you have just simplified is actually, our answers are often frustrating, and depends answer. It's just like the worst what they can hear, because they're just like, oh my God, what are you trying to tell me? And the answer is yes, they want this individualized advice. And by the way, CYA advice, cover your, I'm
yes,
not
we know what that means in the United States. Yes.
Therefore, I'm not going to say the last word, but actually, this is what is not going to. This is what they do not want. Exactly this CYA approach, the answers that depend, the answer that frustrate or actually do not answer the question directly, or actually depend. So what they really need is actually this individualized advice. And this is what is also interesting, because they want, it's all about them. It's never about us. It's like they don't really care about this, the reason why they come to us, but they need the individualized advice that is specifically applying to their skills, to their values, to their set of values. And individualized means here that they want us to solve their problems, not deliver this thing that everyone else can do and can bring. And this one is tricky, because individualized advice, and the longer you are working in one specific area, the more you know the cases, and if you've been there, done that, and it's 102nd case on your road, and you actually somehow tend to think in a specific patterns. And this is what we need to step out of and actually think and concentrate on the question, how is this specific case different from the others? What is unique here? Because everyone wants to feel unique. And we also need to figure out what especially is especially important to you. What exactly do you want me to deliver to you? On the other side,
and you know, Svitlana, that's equally important for mediators as well as for lawyers, because it can be very easy for a mediator to say, oh, I've seen 100 cases like this. This is sort of how they come out, and treating it as boom, 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 let's just get from here to there, and treating the individuals like individuals with their own personal situations, their own personal attitudes toward risk, their own personal personalities is critically important to having clients be satisfied both with the outcome and with the process in mediation, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely agree. And if I may remind you this chart where you had like 4 quadrants, we are still talking about exceptional client focus connected to business savviness, to providing value on the dollar. That we are still talking about the things that are not going to make you look weak, that are not going to make you softy, that are not going to make you not professional. These are the things that are going to bring you more business. These are the things that are going to make you stand out and allow you to deliver directly to the person. So we're not talking about, I don't know, something that is like nice to have. That's the thing that is your unique sales proposition. And it depends, it depends on the people. So absolutely, very good point. Let me give you this example that you have asked me before, and I didn't wanted to take it out of this whole thing. Business connected, this interconnection that you have asked before, interconnectedness before between the jobs, that you start training for the job, but by the end, when you enter the job, it's going to change. By the end, we're going to exit the job. It's going to be changed also. So we are finding ourselves and everyone else in this quick change. But what they expect from us, therefore, we need to consult not just on law, but also on business. And they want us to know their businesses and to apply those skills depending on their businesses. So this is where we come to, well, where's the border? I cannot know everything, but they expect us to. So I have a little example from you, and it's from United States Postal Services. This case happened in a way that they saw a trademark infringement. It was a registered trademark. Because there was an indie rock band who was calling themselves also postal services. So a clear case, legally clear case of trademark infringement. They would they had a primary law firm that they worked into, and they wanted to file a lawsuit against this firm. And those lawyers, they were one step ahead, and started, they did the research on the market and started asking the questions of, is this a really good idea of suing the listeners of the band who are millennials and who you have hardest time of reaching? Those could be your potential clients. And do you really want to start a scandal with the favorite band of those people? On the other side, is this really a good idea to sue the favorite band of the parents of the kids? On the other hand, is this really a good idea of repelling your existing clients who are your strongest target group, the parents of those people who would be listening to this indie rock band? Because the millennials were listening to the indie rock band, they were not using the United States Postal Services. And on the other hand, you had the baby boomers who are the parents, and they would be using the postal services. And obviously they have started asking those why questions and figured out that obviously what they really needed was not the filing lawsuit, but they really wanted to protect their brand because they fear the damage of the brand. And in the end, they have negotiated and made the firm advertising the United States Postal Services, and the postal services have sold the CDs of this band in the end. So this is a very good example of showing that obviously the best legal solution might not be the best solution for the clients, because it's what we need to look at is the big frame, the big picture, and always add the specific business into that, its own values. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Great. So I hope this satisfies this value of the thing, because obviously they would not get that much money from the indie rock band, but they got a lot of new clients out of this whole deal by letting them advertising to the millennials. And the third thing that client will be expecting from us is called interest-based solutions that they want us to deliver. And this brings me to the interests. What are the interests? We tend to focus on positions, and positions are something that we pretty easily and pretty quickly get from the get to know from the clients. So this is like very logical. I want you to sue the indie rock band called by my name, or I want you to deliver this contract. I want to divorce this person. That's a position, and there is nothing wrong in that. It's just the importance to understand that it's just the peak of the iceberg, and it's the that's the way how we used to communicate. So we didn't talk about our feelings too much, but we talk about the facts. And I have here a little picture here of a little girl, because kids are also communicating in these positions. Are they telling us what to do, but not why they're doing something, what they need, why they need something. So, for example, we might even have seen this picture of a child just wanting a candy, and that's it. So that's like, they are the hardest negotiators, and they are the hardest clients, the kids. What we really need to concentrate, however, is the interest of our clients. So it's not the logical thing that they need us to do. I mean, they if they enter the room and tell us what they need, we've got to ask about the concerns, the goals, the motivators, the fears, everything that will move them to do that. Because often they come into the room and they tell exactly what they need, they will be prepared, but actually they would need something else. And I've been to many cases where people come with the idea A and end up very happy with idea C. And just talking about that in a simple terms, that would be that position is just the peak of the iceberg, and it answers to the question, why do I want, what do I want? Very easy and very understandable. But then we have the deep blue waters, and the interests are the biggest part of this whole iceberg. So what we really need to figure out is actually to see, why do they want something? Why are they seeking our experiences and expertise? Because they come very often, and correct me if I'm wrong, they come very often when it's too late or very late, because they have tried to do everything that they could beforehand, and it didn't work. So obviously there are many different things that they have tried before that you don't know yet. So my biggest advice would be to ask those why questions, to open up and to see this whole thing on a broader level, because it's never just this one little question, and maybe you'll figure out a little bit more to support the specific person on this level. Yeah, and this brings me to a little list for lawyers with an exceptional client focus that that will make you stand out. And I would suggest to ask about communicational preferences. Does the client expect you to give him an update every week on a weekly basis, or does he just want you to deliver at the end? Sometimes they just do not want to be involved. The others really want to. And do they want to communicate with you via email or phone? Also an important idea. To share plans for servicing would also signal a lot of transparency, and you can deliver according to the plan. So it's going to give them more feeling of being being treated fairly, and to keep the control on the whole situation, because often they cannot validate the knowledge that we have. Many of our clients are not lawyers, and there are many barriers to trust the lawyer, and therefore giving them as much as possible feeling of control would be the good thing to create more trust. Asking for feedback would be also fantastic. There are also suggestions in literature to do feedback questionnaires before they enter your room, and also after they have experienced your delivery, because if they have had employed another lawyer before, then they will have some expertise also to share with you. This might be very important to you. Establishing systematic pattern of updates would also help you keeping them on track, and giving them system, because they are often all over the place, especially the more personal the issue is. If that's a family law, then it's very personal, and it's better to give them this system of updates of things that they can deliver and expect from you. Bringing industry insights, I think that's pretty common thing of delivering some news, regulations, keeping them up to date, and sending report. I believe when I was a young lawyer was like 1/3 of my job, just looking for the updates and also sending out the little links for the tenders, regulations, and things like that to the clients. Providing online dashboards with budget or performance states. This would also give them a lot of control and will let you also update and adjust to the new situation, that's regulation. So it's usually that's the dashboard, and the planning is estimation. So if you experience changes, then it's better to communicate them as soon as possible and in a transparent, easy way of understanding. And also showing the dedicated team and clearly accountable leader will show this social skills and support people throughout the way, because people do not connect to the firm, they connect to people. So therefore, keeping them informed, and introducing them to the firms, even visiting the sites of the clients, even just visiting, going for taking them out for lunch or going with them for a coffee, is going to create a better relationship, and you will be surprised how much information we get from all those unofficial meetings. So this would be me, and I have just this little slide that I would like to connect with you, or connect with me on LinkedIn, or send me an email if you have any questions. We also have online classes for lawyers, negotiation classes for lawyers. With this little coupon, you'll get 20% off. And yeah, if you have any questions anytime, and let me know what you think about it, and also try to use this exceptional client focus. Concentrate on individual, on interest-based, and also on business-based solutions. And I'm interested how it went for you.
Svitlana, thank you so much. This was a terrific presentation. The combination of empirical research, empirical data, plus your wisdom and insights make this extremely valuable for all of our listeners, whether they're lawyers in a litigation or other practice, or mediators or arbitrators. We all have clients, we all have customers, we all need to understand them, and we all strive to deliver exceptional service. This is going to help us tremendously in that regard. Here at the Will Work for Food Project and the New Possibilities Hour, we try to have an international focus, and we're so happy that you made yourself available all the way from Vienna, Austria. And thank you so much also for sharing your insights about the situation in Ukraine, your own personal connection to what's going on there. It's very important that we address those circumstances and that situation as well. To that end, I hope that people are able to contribute if they're in a position to do so. https://gogetfunding.com/we 4 Ukraine/. I'm confident that we'll raise a lot of money for the humanitarian purposes in Ukraine as a result of your presentation, Svitlana. Thank you so much. And with that, we are complete.